We will get you out of here. Not try. We will get you out here by 11:30 this time. Yeah. So that first session usually takes a little longer, and these we're going to get down to business. First of all, let's go through anybody was not here for the first session. Perfect. Good deal. Just give us a quick name, company you're with, and team you're with. Let's start there.
Beth Stevens on Jill Doica team.
Awesome. Great.
Amber Nelson, Jill Doica.
Good deal. You guys, who is that? I'm going to use you guys as an example. I saw a post last night late. You guys had a closing, right?
Yeah.
And there was a first-time home buyer dude that bought kind of out in the country someplace. It's like, yeah. Well, so to quick tell, I'm going to use this as an example because you guys understand how business, hey Kim, leads you to business. And you could pay for all the advertising in the world you want, but someone out there saying, my agent is an answer to my prayers, right? It's essentially what they said, right? And so what value do you place on that, right? How do you spend ad dollar to get that? You don't, right? So if you can get to the point where people are posting on social media, my agent is an angel sent from God of heaven above, right? Okay? Right, yeah, exactly. You know, it's just, that is worth, how much time, like, oh my gosh, I'm selling a $127,000 Plant City, Okay, it was higher, well, good. But it doesn't matter though, right? Is that even above that, it doesn't realize that we never focus on the size of transaction. All right, well, even though I'm being recorded, size doesn't matter. All right, okay? It's the numbers of transactions matters, right? So it's because transactions lead you to transactions. Activity breeds activity. If you can get that ball rolling, you can get it to a point where it doesn't stop. I've always taught that every deal leads you to 5, all right? You should have the deal and 4 more, right? Because 4 more, and if you can get that happening in a good way, all right? I'm a math teacher, I understand exponents, right? And you start to put things to the power of things as opposed to just even multiplying, right? Multiplying's good, but exponential growth is better, right? You guys know where that term came from, right? Exponential growth means exponents. 2 to the 3rd power, the 3 is an exponent. You understand that, right? Okay, good. So let's go back to, all right, back when I was teaching, I always said teaching 5th grade math to 10th graders, but that was good. That's what I was doing. So, that is where growth can just really, blow up on you, right? Is that when things like that start to happen, because that whole organic, people, and let me share, and oh my gosh, you bought, if you did, we're going to talk a little bit later about how technology is great and things like that. Social media are great. Technology is great. However, technology also has its downside because it's enabled us to totally, hide away in our boxers and our, wife beater t-shirt and, hanging out and just, doing nothing and not having to expose ourselves to the public, right? And so with that, though, I'm going to share kind of my own stories of how I would grow my business. But now, okay, in today's technological world, how that's been kind of removed because technology has made it easier, right? But by making it easier, is it necessarily better? All right, and have I lost the face-to-face, the interaction, the eyeball-to-eyeball that we talked about, right? Remember, eyeball-to-eyeball beats pixel-to-eyeball every day of the week, right? I'd rather be in front of somebody than on their computer screen, right? Because, as engaging as Joanne is, all right, she's way more engaging in person than she is even on the best picture day she's ever had, right, on a computer screen, right? And so if you can find ways to get in front of people, that's our key. Cool? All right, so we got 2. Anybody else that was not here last time? Yes?
Tommy with KW.
Okay, perfect. And your first name again?
Tommy, K-M-Y.
Okay, that's right. And you're with us now, though, right?
Yep.
Okay, not that you have to be, by the way. We have agents from other companies that come in all the time, so that's a great thing. Come on in. All right. Those who come in last get to sit in the front. That's right. See? That's where the A-pluses sit anyway. All right. See? Good deal. Come on in. All right. So anybody else not here last time? Yes.
I wasn't here last
Yeah.
time.
Christina?
Yes.
Okay, Christina Maloney
With millennial title.
with Millennial Title, because we got a couple top title reps in here, which is great. Colleen's in here as well. So, Connie, sorry. It is good to have. By the way, the stuff we teach in this is all about growth in any industry, quite frankly. And so we welcome people. Now, you guys were here last time, yes? No? First time? Okay, perfect. Name and company you're with and how long in the business?
All right, I'm Maggie. I've been with Future Home Realty for 9 months now.
Nice.
Or, sorry, closer to 10.
Okay, perfect. Good. Good deal. And how long in the business? 10 months as well?
Yep.
Oh, perfect. See, she got smart early on. All right. Just joined us straight out right away. Didn't have to go through the other hazing process and get to us. All right, good deal. Awesome.
Jenny Farmer, Future
Jenny.
Home Realty. Been in the business for almost 2 years.
Awesome. Perfect, perfect. Good deal. All right, so we're going to get those who missed last time caught up real quickly. We're not going to go through all of what we did last time. But by the way, Jim, last session is already up, right? Okay. FHR University, if you're a member of FHR University, you can jump on and see any of the replays of any of the live sessions we do, so that if you missed it and you want to catch up on that, it's there. All right? But in essence, we started talking about a couple things. Remember, I kind of laid out this game plan and we just chose $100,000 just because it sounded good, right? It's just a number that makes sense. It puts you in the top 10% of real estate agents in the United States easily, right? Probably put top 5%. It doesn't take a whole lot to be in the upper echelon in this industry. It really doesn't. I'm just here to tell you. And so with that in mind, you need to pick a number, because let me ask you, it's Bob, it's all about the numbers. Well, guess what? Yeah, tell that to your mortgage company. Yeah, it is all about the numbers. I need to pay my mortgage, so it is all. Tell that to your kid, your baby bird, who wants to eat. All right, Unless you're going to steal food, right? It's all about the numbers. So yes, as much as you may want to rail against a society where money is an issue, all right, then if you got a problem, go back to Adam and Eve. All right, it started there, and downfall. We talked about that last time. People say, "Oh, it's so bad today." Really? There were 4 people on earth and there was a murder. All right? Okay? The murder rate was 25%, right? Okay? Got Adam, Eve, Cain, and Abel, and one brother killed the other. All right? Okay, so, so is it really that bad? And read the Old Testament for a while and tell me how bad we are today. Yeesh. All right? All sorts of things going on, but story for another day. Anyway, so I laid out this plan. You pick a number that works for you, because you want to pick a number that's challenging enough, but not too overwhelming that you're demotivated, right? That if, hey, look, I'm going to sell $38 million worth of real estate this year. How much you sell last year? None. Okay, well, that's okay, and I admire your enthusiasm, all right, but let's hit some goals and make some progress, right? And hit those slowly. So you want to get something that's attainable, because you want to have some victories. Right? It's important to have victories, because when we start to pre-play our expectation, that's one thing that you want to be able to do to keep a positive attitude. But then after you have those positive results, then we get to replay, right? If you ever want, by the way, I told you I got a lot of books, but if you're ever looking for some stuff talking about the psychology of winning, there's a guy, Dennis Waitley, Waitley, wrote a ton of stuff. He was a interesting cat. I've heard him speak at different seminars, and really, really neat dude. Fighter pilot kind of guy, right? But just talks about the mental imagery. And there for a while, it took us a while to learn this, because the Russians were kicking our backside in the Olympics every year, and we went and studied them. We learned that they were pre-playing, right? People say, "Oh my gosh, you hit the triple toe loop," right? I said, "Yeah, I hit the triple toe loop in my mind 82 times last night." Right? I pre-played what it's going to look like, feel like, smell like, sound like, right? When I nail that triple toe loop, and therefore it's just like a foregone conclusion, right? So if we can get to that mindset, that's where we're going to be. So anyways, you got to pick a number that does that. So I laid it all out, and we all said, at the end, we said, okay, that sounds great, but, how are we going to do that, right? So I'm going to go through these real quick. This is simple. Yeah, remember that one? Let's get the cobwebs out. This is simple. Yeah, okay, we're not going to overcomplicate the business. A lot of times we try and make this way more difficult than it needs to be, right? We joke around saying we're going to spend the first 4.5 months of our real estate career trying to figure out which CRM is the best, all right? Who gives a flying flip, all right? Literally, use a notebook with lines drawn down it, and there's your CRM. It's all the CRM I ever had, and I killed it in this business, all right? The fact that you guys have one that automatically sends a birthday email to your clients, all right? That's great, but part of that's great, but did they see you face to face? Maybe it's not so great, right? Maybe, did they hear your voice, or did they see one that said, "Dear," fill in the first name here, all right? "I am so glad that we are friends," all right? Trust me, I get these all the time. I got ownership in real estate properties that I have in a trust, right? We talked about having a trust, and so it's usually a sign that they don't know me when it says, "Dear Robert T. McDougall Trust," all right? It's like, hey, yeah, we're lifelong buddies, obviously, all right? The only people that call me that are no one, right? Okay, so this is simple. I got this. We're going to study those who have done it and are doing it, all right? We're not going to reinvent the wheel. We're going to cheat. We're going to look over the paper of the person next to us and say, hey, if it worked for them, maybe it's going to work for us, right? Okay, we're going to totally cheat. We're going to learn from each other, and that's okay because we decided that we're all agreed, made a solemn vow that we're going to work from what we call the abundance mentality, which means there's plenty for all, right? And that just because Mary shares a secret, it's not a trade secret that no one else can use. And if Kim gets benefit out of that, guess what? A week from now, Kim shares something that Mary gets the benefit from, right? Because the concentric circles, the circles of here's Mary's business, here's Kim's business, the amount of that business that really overlaps, if it does at all, is so minute that it's inconsequential. It's the right side of the decimal kind of stuff. Doesn't matter, right? And so we're going to work from this abundance mentality, and you've probably already seen it already, those of you on the 100K Facebook page, the ability for people just to share and help. It's amazing, right? My whole job as a broker now is I get up and I just hit like, done, all right? All the questions they had were answered, life is good, all right? That, and you guys have making sure you have Jim's phone number and not mine, all right? That makes life easy for me as well, right? So that being said, that's how we're going to roll. We have to agree to that, okay? Submit to the law of the harvest. We spent a long time on this, that we cannot cheat the law of the harvest. The law of the harvest, the things we teach here are principle-based, meaning they're the same as they were, post-fall, Adam and Eve, all right, to today. There are certain laws that are inalienable, right, to borrow a term from the Constitution or from the Declaration of Independence, right, that there are certain things that we can't argue with and we can't cheat, right? And the law of the harvest says that in order to reap, I must sow. You have to, right? I can't expect a harvest without sowing, okay? You can't do it. But the good news is when I do sow, I will reap, right? As long as I study and follow the process and do what I'm supposed to do, follow the recipe, all right, and make sure things are done well. We're going to learn from our mistakes. We talked about that, right? Where there are no oxen, the stable is clean. The people that have the cleanest stables are doing nothing, right? Okay, if you aren't having things mess up, if there aren't appraisals coming in low, it means you aren't having any appraisals, all right? And if you aren't having any appraisals, it means you have no deals, right? Or they're all cash. Okay, I need to hang out with you and find out how you get those deals all the time, right? That being said, it's okay. Now, as future home agents, almost all of you are, okay, I'm not saying, hey, go out and make mistakes blatantly, right? Let's talk about them first, right? But in the event that you are doing things, stuff happens, right? It's okay. Don't, the whole, one of our core values is to make it right. So when something does get messed up, go make it right. A lot of times, by the way, that helps you get even more business. Okay? Even though, especially if you made it right, here's what happens. When you make it right and it costs you money, because you screwed up, two things happen. Your memory gets really long, all right? You remember that mistake better than if it didn't cost you any money. And then the second thing is that the client or the person that is the recipient of you owning that and making it right will now really blow up your social media because, hey, look, they didn't really have to. They kind of, but they stepped up and got it done, right? You can parlay that into even more business. Fair enough? All right? We're going to grow personally. We're going to spend a lot of time on this. How many of you guys were in the book club yesterday? Oh, nice. So you guys are all here. Look at that. You guys should be sitting in the front row. That's where the A-pluses really are. That's the overachievers. Okay, we are reading a book in the book club. This is in addition to the 7 levels of communication. In the virtual book club, we met virtually online yesterday. called the Principle-Centered Leadership. We just introduced it yesterday, and they're going to read the first 3 chapters plus the preface, right? Principle-Centered Leadership by Stephen Covey. And we're going to learn, if you start digging into that, based on the primary greatness, is that we really need to learn to work on ourselves. Because, flash forward, we are learning we're not going to sell, and we're not going to chase. What are we going to do? Attract, right? In order to attract, I use the word, we want to be compelling to people, not repelling to people. You understand the difference? All right? And that means sometimes we need to check our actions and the way we talk to people, the way we interact on social media, the things we talk about. Are we a whiner and a complainer all flipping day long? Because guess what? That's very unattractive if you haven't noticed. All right? Now here's my problem. I tend to see it in others way sooner than I see it in myself. Right? I can't believe that they would even say, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. And I look at mine like, ew. Right? That's why you need an accountability partner who's going to step up and call you on that and say, hey, look, all right, you're real quick to point that out to other people, not so quick to see it in yourself. Now, I happen to be married to my accountability partner, which has its pros and cons, right? The guest bedroom looks real tiresome after a while, right? But, there's accountability. She was tough early on, all right? Hey, Bob, how's it go today? Great. Did you write a contract? No. All right. See you tomorrow. What? Dadgum. All right. See? It's motivating, right? You got whatever it takes to get it done, right? Make that happen. We're going to grow personally, and we're going to talk about that a lot here. Because the more we can grow personally and become a better me, right, the more attractive I am and the more compelling I am to other people. And you know what? It's a differentiator. Somebody that's growing and thriving and learning new things all the time, boy, that is such an anomaly in our world today that it just automatically stands out you're like a beacon, right? You're almost like one of those, you walk around with the little Virgin Mary halo things painted around your head, right? Okay, that people are like, what's up with that, right? What's going on there? It's just because it's unique, right? It's not, so why not stand out in a good way, all right? And that's our goal, is to help you get to that point. We're going to feed off the synergy in the room, because here's what happens. I've seen this time and time again. People are like, we're going to, continue. By the way, meetings going forward are going to be online. We're not going to be here in person. I'm going to encourage you on our online meetings to do them still when we do them live, right? I'm going to still encourage you to get together in groups 3, 4, 5, and 6, right? Meet at one of the local offices, meet at wherever, a title company that might, hey, come use one of our conference rooms. You're more than welcome to come share. And that way there's still the community aspect of it, but it makes it easier than having to drive from Riverview and Brandon, right? Okay, and so we can work on still having that group dynamic in there to do it. But we're going to start sharing stories. People say, boy, I implemented what Bob was teaching. We did some bank-owned open houses, and I'm just in this, and I'm doing that. And, and I've got 3 deals I didn't have, back when I started this. And people, quite frankly, right or wrong, it is what it is. People say, holy smokes, Joanne did that? If Joanne can do it, I can do it, right? Okay? It's like there's synergy in the room is what starts to happen. And like, really? Right? And it gets our competitive juices flowing a little bit, doesn't it? I mean, I don't know if you're me, all right, but I got a high challenge needs score. So that's why I was talking about the iFit. We talked about that new treadmill I got, right? That has the trainers that are on there. They're a 28-year-old hot body trainer. I'm like running after them. Like, see, I can never catch her. But it's very, plus I'm like, no 28-year-old girl's going to outrun me, right? Okay, and so I'm going to, here I go. I'm going to run faster and farther and harder than I ever have before. And so it becomes very motivating, right? If you allow it to be, as opposed to demotivating. All right? Stop making and accepting our lame excuses. We have to agree to that. Right? Stop it. Throw it out the window. We talk about forming new habits and having those replace the old, right? We've got to do that, people. We've got to get rid of the habits that have created where we are today. I don't know if I have it on here. If not, I'll remind me at the end. We got to talk about Covey. Live in accountability, right? You got to have someone that's going to call you on the carpet. If you can't, people say, oh, I'm accountable to myself. I said, really? Okay, well, where you are today is because of choices you've made, right? Remember we talked about that? That's a huge one, that until someone can honestly look themselves in the eye or in the mirror and say, I am where I am today because of choices I've made. It's nobody else's fault. It's not my parents' fault. It's not my grandparents' fault. It's not the government's fault. It's not the interest rates' fault. It's not the China trade tariff issue's fault. It's not the Federal Reserve's fault. It's not anybody. I am where I am today because of choices I've made, right? And until we get to that point where we honestly say that, we can never affect change in our life, right? Because you're not being honest. And if you're not going to be honest with yourself, then you can't be trustworthy, worthy of trust, right? And nobody wants to be in business and do business with somebody who is not worthy of trust. But the good news is, the minute we become worthy of trust, it opens up doors you have never seen before. Because now, again, it's a differentiator, right? It's something that people crave. Boy, I just want somebody that you know what? Let your word be your word, dadgummit, right? Just say what you're going to say and do what you said you were going to do, and you know, we're good, right? You want that out of your clients, but they should expect that out of us as well. Fair enough? Okay, cool. Turn off the television, except when the Rays are playing. Go Rays, all right? And you should turn off the television if the Rays are in town anyway, because you should be at the game. Dadgummit, all right? They're going to leave town. You understand that? We're going to lose the Rays if we don't go to the games, all right? So other than the Rays playing on TV, all right? Okay, and the Bucks, they can't make a kick anyway, right? All right, jeez. All right, then turn off the TV and go to work, right? It is a time suck, right? And it gets, especially now, got worse, right? Because now, and we talked about it last time, it's not even TV. TV includes your handheld device, right? That has every Netflix and Amazon Prime video you'd ever want, all right? And then some. And it's, there's only 13 episodes in this season, but there are 8 seasons. Let's see, 104, average 54 minutes per. That's a lot. I just don't have the time, Bob. I just don't know where my time goes. I do. Let me follow you around for a little bit, all right? You try and say, I don't have the money to get out of debt to Dave Ramsey. You know what Dave Ramsey's going to do? He's going to say, hey, look, I want you to write down every penny you spend for the next week. And he's like, hey, I just found $387.12. Where? It's in lattes and frappes and whatever you got, you know what I mean? All these different things that you... Here's one. I love this one. I saw this on a kitchen towel. You know, like people, it was like I have a home in Nashville as well, so they always have these little southern home shows or whatever. We were at some, street fair or something, and they had a lady she made her living going around to these, different street fairs selling dish towels, right? This is great. But on this one was it said, Pilates, ? I thought you said pie and lattes. I said, that's great. Pilates? Who wants to do Pilates? I'll do pie and lattes all day long. All right, that's a good one. I am all in. Turn off television. Live a disciplined life. There's freedom and structure. You're going to see that hashtag a lot. There's freedom and structure. The more structured we are, the freer we become, which sounds oxymoronic, means they don't go together. Things like government intelligence, right? Words that shouldn't be used, right? That kind of stuff. But oxymoronic terms like freedom in structure. But the reality is, if I can discipline myself to be structured in the first 2 hours of the morning, boy, it frees up so much more. John brought up a great point. John Lowe brought up a great point yesterday in our book club about the whole idea of learning to win the morning, right? We teach a lot about win the day, but part of winning the day is winning the morning. Because here's the thing. I told you there's nothing new under the sun. Here's the principle, right? You want to win the year? Great. If you want to win the year, win the first quarter. If you want to win the first quarter, win January. If you want to win January, then you better win week January 1 through January 7. And if you want to win January 1 through January 7, you better win January 1. And to take it a step further per John, you want to win January 1, win hours 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. on January 1, right? We'll give you a break on January 1. You're kind of a little foggy from blowing your thing, the night before. All right, we'll give you a little break, so we'll call it January 2nd. But the reality is, because if you win enough mornings, you win enough days. You win enough days, you win enough weeks. You win enough weeks, you win enough months. You win enough months, you win enough quarters. You win enough quarters, you win the year, right? Win enough years, you win your life, right? And that's what we're all desiring to do. But it really can be broken down into that, right? Is what am I doing now to achieve what I... Now, is there balance in our lives? Am I saying that we live to sell real estate? No way, right? I'm a firm believer that none of us, nobody in this room was put on earth here to, God said your purpose is to sell real estate, right? It's not. There's something bigger, better, badder that you want to accomplish in life, but real estate, I think, is really cool because it can be some really neat things and it allows you some freedoms, if done right, to go pursue your true passion, whether it be single moms or, by the way, who knows Patty Reading? Anybody know Patty Reading in Future Home? You guys, any of you younger ladies want a role model to follow? All right, Patty's just a great lady. She runs a prison ministry up in Hernando County. It's at the women's prison. Incredible. She posted the other day. Matter of fact, I saw her in the Nashville airport a couple Sundays ago. She was flying home. And I thought I saw her over there, and I said, Patty, and she came over and got to meet Samuel, and it was cool. But she was flying back from what she calls a Blue Angel wedding. And one of her, from 8 years ago, right, her prison ministry young ladies, gotten out and got herself back straightened out and everything else, and now has put her life back together, and she went into her wedding in Alabama or someplace, right? And they call them Blue Angels because they wear blue, prison blue. Right? So now now they've become angels. It's what, I get goosebumps just even saying it, right? But you talk about affecting change in people's lives, right? It's just, and Patty's very financially successful, right? She has a really good business, and it's kind of cool how it all can be a whole package, right? It's not all or one. It's not one or the other. A lot of times it's not. It's the entire. They do go hand in hand. That's why we make it a mandate, and you'll see at the end of your commitments to the group is that part of it is to go give of yourself, right? That you're supposed to donate 4 hours a month to some type of nonprofit, right? Whether that be picking up trash on the beach, to serving in your Sunday school, to whatever, and all points in between. Serving in a prison ministry, to doing Big Brothers, Big Sisters, to washing flea, mangy dogs, right? Okay? Whatever your passion is, you need to go give up because A, you feel better when you do it. And as a byproduct of that, I'm just here to tell you, I have never had anybody commit and do it 3 months in a row, all right, and not walk out with business. So why we do it? Absolutely not. Okay, is it a byproduct? Absolutely. Why? Okay, so I'm giving up 3 hours of my morning on Saturday from 9 a.m. to 12 to help stray dogs get processed so they don't get euthanized, and we're going to try and get them adopted and everything else. And I'm in need, elbow deep in suds and fleas and everything else trying to get this dog cleaned up. And you're in the tub next to me, not in the tub, but okay, working the tub next to me, right? Okay, so I'm working this tub, you're working the next one, and we look over. Is there a chance that the conversation's going to start? Is there a chance that there's some commonality bond that you both have at that moment? Yeah, you're both elbow deep in suds and fleas. Right? So you obviously have some type of the same interests, right? So what do you do? I'm an accountant at so-and-so. Really, what do you, boom, but next thing, my niece is looking for a play. Happens every time. Why we do it? No. Does it happen? Yes. Right? Because it's one of those irrefutable laws that say, when you give, you get. Period. All right? Actually implement it this time. We're great talkers, bad doers. All right? We can give the best rah-rah speech ever, especially to the person in the mirror. This is it. This is the time. This is the one. I promise I'm going to draw a line in the sand. Here we go. All right? And the next thing you know, ding, something pops on your phone, and it's the next Netflix series just popped in. You might also like, because you watched, I'm speaking from experience, can you tell? right? Because you like the Americans, right? You also might like, right? Like, ooh, and because I'm really big into, I love Israeli history, right? Even though I'm not Jewish or Israeli or anything, all right? But you know what? I told the group yesterday I want to be a CIA agent, but I want to be a CIA agent who specializes in helping Mossad, all right? Which is the, Jewish CIA, right? And so, secret, and I might be that, by the way. I couldn't tell you if I did, all right? But, all right, I'm going to check my bag. You might know what's in there, all right? So that being said, things can draw us away, right? Because we're good talkers, but not so good doers, right? So we got to make sure that we hear and do, all right? Sound familiar? Well, it's from the Bible, okay? Be doers of the word, not just hearers, all right? Read that in your Bible someplace. Google it. It's there, all right? That's the thing. We can't just say things. We have another hashtag that we like to put out. Here's this, because you're going to come and you're going to learn things, right? To know and not to do is not to know, right? So if you're going to know something, you're going to learn something and not do it, then why waste your time even doing it? Or why even learning it, right? If you're not going to implement, because implementation, again, is a huge differentiator. A lot of people go to class. Remember, we talked about that there are 4 other real estate trainings within a mile radius of here serving bagels. This one doesn't serve bagels, right? But serving bagels right now where people are learning some technique. Here's the thing. If people would implement what they're teaching there, it would work, right? It's not what to do is the problem. To do is the problem. I got to drive that into you, right? I've just seen it so many times. What to do is not the problem. To do is the problem. So we're going to learn to do, all right? And once we learn to do, we can then say, ta-da, all right? I did it, all right. I just thought that one up. I got to write that down. That's genius right there, if I don't mind saying so myself. All right, trust the process and follow and use quality ingredients. We talked about Marley Spoon, right? Where I think I'm Chef, Boyardee now because I can make anything because I can read, right? Not because I'm real creative, but because I just follow a recipe and they send me the stinking ingredients in the mail, right? It's in a box. I just say, cut this open. I don't have to measure stuff. They've already got pre-measured. I just pour it in, all right? But I think I'm Chef, Wolfgang, right? You can call me Wolfgang Puck now, all right? But I'm going to give you the recipe and the ingredients. It's your job to mix it up and bake it. Fair enough? Consistently evaluate our progress. We're not going to wait too long. We're going to set some goals, and we're going to have what we call a Sunday night ritual. If you started reading the book, you should have been introduced to the Sunday night ritual already. The book being 7 Levels of Communication by Michael Mayer. In that, he introduces a couple different habits or different, what does he call them? The 4 rituals, okay? The 4 rituals, right? One's a morning ritual. There's the pre-leave ritual, pre-sleep ritual, and the Sunday night ritual. And the Sunday night ritual is critical because I think it's imperative that we review our previous week, see what we did according to what we had planned on doing, and then make adjustments and say, this is what I'm going to plan my next week. We're going to teach you how to do that in 15 minutes or less every Sunday night. It's the best thing you can do for your business, all right? Joseph, my older son, is in Florida virtual school, and we have a Sunday afternoon ritual because I'm usually flying home on Sunday, flying back to Orlando. So he stays in Nashville most of the time. So before I leave, hey, we just do a quick 15 minutes. Let's check it out. What do you got planned for this week? What do you got? You got this class, this, here, this, got a test in that, boom. We should map it out, right? It's good to have a plan. Are we a slave to it? No. Do we need to be more of a slave to it than we currently are? Yes. Right? I don't want to be a slave. I got into real estate because I just want to be my own boss. Right? Well, how's that working out for you? Right? The beauty of real estate is you're self-employed. The curse of real estate is you're self-employed. All right? And so you've got to decide, am I going to make it happen? Right? And I've got to put some structure. And it's good because you know what? Ever talk about this? There's freedom in structure. Right? That the more structured I am, the freer I become. All right? Cool. Trip to the moon, we showed that thing, and talking about weed yourself daily. If you didn't get that, it's not what you think. It's not that kind of weed yourself daily. It's like, right on. Right on. Play some more Queen, dude. Take me back to 1973. All right? Okay. Life was good. All right. Okay. So I've heard. All right. Not that I can never run for, well, you can run for office nowadays. It's not as big a deal. Back when Clinton was running, it was a big deal, right? Okay. But I didn't inhale. All right. Okay. System 1, here we talked about two systems. We called them corn planting and orange groves, right? Corn planting, we call it that because it's fast. Chances of this thing, all right. I am where I am today because of choices I've made. The scale says what it says today because of choices. You know, I got on the scale today. I graduated college at 158, meaning my weight. Okay, you guys like IQ? What are you talking about, dude? 158 would be a good IQ, by the way, but I'm not there. All right. Yeah, you and I both wish, right? I stepped on the scale today, 158. Get it? Celery juice. All right, told you, 80 ounces of celery juice every morning. Those mini micro fasts, right? I don't eat after 7:30. I was telling the group before they go 7:30 last night. I have a rule that nothing after 7:30, and I don't eat again till noon the next day, right? Except for my celery juice, right? All great, except when the rays are on, and it's 9:45, and that bag of pretzels is calling me from the pantry. Bob. It's like, really? So, what's that? I love it. Jeanette does that. Mary said, brush your teeth, and that way you say you feel like, oh man, am I really going to have to brush my teeth again? Right? What's that? And floss, exactly. Do a water pick even, all right? Get it all done, right? That's right. That's right. You know what I did do, though, is I learned, and Jeanette taught me this, is I allowed myself a cup of decaffeinated chamomile tea. Right? It suppressed my appetite, and you know what? It has very few, if any, calories, and it enables me to kind of calm, and at least satisfies my tongue a little bit and my stomach. Right? It feels like I psyched myself into believing that was a piece of pizza, right? A pretzel. Boy, this tea tastes like pretzels. All right? If I say that enough times, get it done. I got off on that, but the reality is, so I was sitting on the table. That's what got me there. I'm going to teach you to plant corn. All right? Here's why we call it corn plant. We got two things: corn planting, orange groves. All right? And we're right online because we're gonna spend about 20 minutes right now on corn planting. And I'm going to show you who needs business tomorrow, who needs business yesterday. All right? Okay? Seriously, who needs business? And quite frankly, I don't have a list of 48 people that I know are going to buy from me in the next 2 months. Right? Okay, cool. We're going to show you in the next 20 minutes, I'm going to show you a process that if you will implement, I guarantee the next time we meet virtually in 2 weeks, you will have people either you are working with or already under contract, if you will implement in a consistent fashion. If you're going to be willing to roll up your sleeves and go to work. If you're not, if you're expecting to sit back watching your Netflix and wait for people to knock on your door and say, hey, I thought I heard something. I smell a realtor around here, right? Okay? Doesn't work that way, right? Okay? People are not going to come seek you out. You've got to seek them out, but you've got to do it in a way that you're not chasing them, right? Because they don't want to be chased, right? It's like we call it feeding the pigeons. How do you feed pigeons? You guys are a flock of pigeons, and I come walking up to you. You guys are all huddled together, right? Okay? And I've got a bag of bread here, right? You guys want bread. But if I go in there and say, hey, there are pigeons, and I go running, I've got bread. You're gone, right? That's what we do as realtors too many times. I've got a first-time homebuyer program, right? And people are like, what? Right? Okay? They're scared, right? So instead, just throw a little out there. Let them start to nibble, right? Let them come to you, right? Let them feel like, hey, you know what? It's okay. This person's safe, right? Instead, if you've got commission breath or you're too hyper, which I had to fight, trust me. I got a hold of a first-time homebuyer program. I thought why in the world is anybody renting? Right? Seriously. Okay? And I was so passionate about that I would think I was scaring some people away. Right? And so let's learn to be balanced in that. Okay? But I think we can get this done. So here's the thing. This is simple. That's our mindset, right? We're not going to overcomplicate. This is not a difficult business to be in. If you're going to last in this business, you better list, is what most people tell you. I'm going to teach you to work with buyers. Why? We talked about it last time. Watch the replay. Buyers will lead you to your listings. I know the traditional theory, the other 3 or 4 real estate trainings that are going on right now, they're teaching you how to list, right? Problem is, newer in the business, right? You're going to get your teeth kicked in when you go up against an experienced agent, right? Because the experienced agent is going to throw a heavy-weighted report down that says, hey, look, I sold 8 million last week in this zip code. What'd that agent do? And you're like, I made 8 million in my lifetime, right? Okay, and so you're going to get your teeth kicked in. So instead, you go work with buyers who that heavy-hitting listing agent doesn't want to look at because it's a waste of their time, according to them. And you're going to go work with buyers and you're going to do it. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to learn to do traffic-generating events. Now, I see a lot of ladies in the room, all right? Not that men are immune to this, all right? But ladies tend to be more susceptible to issues at open houses, right? Safety-wise. Learn to partner up. Now, again, you can partner up with other agents. Here's my only thought on this. And again, remember, we all agree. Raise your right hand. I agree that nothing Bob says will offend me. All right? And if you do, leave. Okay? Seriously. I'm not here to offend anybody, but I'm here to tell you that if you do another open house with another real estate agent, you're splitting the leads. You're cutting your potential business in half. All right? I don't want to look at it that way. We get together, so we have so much fun together. That's great. All right? As long as there's enough business to split between two of you and make you happy. But the problem is usually there's not. So instead, when I say partner with somebody, partner with a title person, partner with a title person, partner with a mortgage person, partner with a home inspector, partner with somebody else who's looking to meet potential buying clients as well, right, and engage, and also wants to please you, right? Because you all know it starts with the realtor, right? I get it, they refer us business once every millennia, right? But usually it's the opposite way, right? Usually they're wooing us so that when we have a client and our contract, then we can bring it to the title company. I mean, again, not offended, right? It's a reality, okay? And so with that in mind, they're looking to please you, and even if they don't get a client out of it, they might get you as a client because you're willing to do that with them, right? So, and by the way, just the safety, the statistics say that the number of issues at an open house when there are more than one is infinitesimal. They're going to go, if they have nefarious thoughts in their head and intent, they're going to go to the easier target, which is a target of one. Right? That's why my house, both my houses, my primary residences where I live are lit up like the stinking, I don't know what's lit up, all right? Okay? Like a dude who weeds himself daily in Colorado, lit up like that. No, why? I want them to go to my neighbor's house. I like my neighbors, but I'm not responsible for my neighbors, right? I'm going to go easier target, dark house, right? I'm going to make mine the tougher target, okay? Just it is what it is. Same thing, go in pairs, all right? And nothing wrong with that at all, and do it. Now, traffic-generated events, what does that mean? We talked about getting in front of people, getting eyeball to eyeball. So the story was, right, Mary, just as an example, Mary has $10,000 a month on Zillow, and she's up there all the time. Zillow, Mary Diaz is the best, Mary Diaz is the best, Mary Diaz is the best, because she bought that zip code. So this person who's looking in that zip code, all on Zillow, they're seeing Mary Diaz, right? Then that client, potential client, gets in their car, drives by, sees my bank foreclosure open house sign, says, bank foreclosure? I heard you could steal a home. I heard you could get a house for $1. I saw an infomercial last night that said, right? And so they pull in to my bank foreclosure open house that I've spent, total of $80 on signs 7 years ago, right? Okay, so that was my total investment. Mary's paying $10,000 a month, all right? I spent $80 7 years ago, and they walk in, and the minute I get eyeball to eyeball with that person, I win. Who's Mary? They saw Mary all morning long on their computer. Now they get a chance to meet me. Now they're going to meet me, and we're going to have the next slide is going to talk about converting these people. So problem number one, all right, traffic. How do we get the most traffic? I have found, I'm just telling you my experience, I have found even to this day that bank foreclosure open houses draw more people to them than a regular open house, period. That's the good news. The bad news is bank foreclosure open houses aren't the easiest to get open houses to have, number one. Number two, yeah, we're going to kind of dispense of that problem. And number two, they're not, I mean, the Bucks game is not, there's no power, right? There's no, I mean, now they've gotten nicer. Back in the day when I was doing them, all right, you guys, back when I sold real estate, you don't want to know, uphill to school, both ways, back and forth, in the snow, all right? In the snow in the morning and in 112 degrees in the afternoon. I had it worse. The reality is that they're not as comfort-laden, let's put it that way, as a traditional open house. But you guys, trust me, I've done comfort-laden open houses in my day, right? I got the Bucks game on, right? Things are in. I got my bowl of pretzels. This is before I was doing celery juice, right? And also when I was 20 pounds heavier, right? But I was, you know, and people would roll. I was like, are you kidding me? You're coming in now? It's 3rd and 8, right? You interrupt. What are you doing here, right? And I've also said, like, they're interrupting me, all right, as opposed to, hey, look, you know, I'm sorry, I thought it said open house. Well, you thought wrong. Get out, all right? Let's wait till after this, you know. Oh, by the way, you want me? I'm just telling you, bank foreclosure open houses for me, I was on duty. Here we go. Game on. And I literally, guys, I could tell you the story behind it. I discovered it my 2nd weekend in real estate. All right, now again, things have changed. So 1993 and a half, so it was June of 1993, got into real estate. I was me and the broker. All right, I said, oh, great. I got the summer to sell. What do I do? He says, you should probably sit in an open house. I said, great. Where? He said, well, we got one listing. It was the broker. He just started the company, right? And so it was he and I. We got one listing, his aunt's house, right? So I went and sat at the open house all Saturday and Sunday, right? Met 3 people, both days, combined, total, right? 3 people, neighbor across the street, 5 doors down, right? Neighbor next door, and some dude who rolled up on a 10-speed, you know, who couldn't get a library card, much less a mortgage, right? Okay? So I said, all right, well, there's 0 for 1 weekend, right? I'm done, right? Now what am I going to do? Right? So 1993, of course, what does anybody do? I went to Google. No, wasn't there. I went to the internet. No, wasn't there. I just went online and no, wasn't there. So I went to the newspaper. You guys know what a newspaper is? Got some of you guys, do you know what a newspaper is? You ever seen one? You ever got ink on your fingers? Okay, you have. All right, good deal. All right, so I went to the newspaper on Friday morning. The Housing and Urban Development, often called HUD, which is FHA, right? FHA is part of HUD, printed a list of their foreclosures every Friday morning. That's how they advertised them, right? Here they are. Here's our foreclosures. We've got 10 days to submit a sealed bid. And I was like, so when my broker said, he goes, it says down here that, you know, if you're a licensed registered HUD broker, you can sit open houses. No, it didn't say that. It said, contact your local registered HUD broker. And I said, hey, dude, are we a HUD broker? He said, what? I said, I guess not. So I went downtown Tampa, went and found the HUD office, the local regional HUD office. Downtown, it was on, you know, Cass or someplace down there. Get in there, finally find them. Very government agency, right? So they're very helpful, right? Okay. I'm like knocking on doors. Hey, do you know where HUD? You know where HUD? Yeah, finally. Okay, after an hour and a half of hunting around, I finally found the office. Get in there, and she says, oh yeah, here's the manual. Boom. Just throws it, 1.5 inch thick manual. I'm reading through this thing, trying to fill out the paperwork so my broker could become a HUD broker, right? So I said, hey, look, I don't have any listings, but there are 22 of them right here. All right? What the heck? Let's give that a go. And so I'm reading through, and about halfway through it says, by the way, anybody who's a licensed HUD broker can set an open house at any of our open houses, or any of our listings. I said, well, neighbor guy on 10-speed didn't work. Let me try something different, right? Okay? Point number 1, I was not going to be stopped. All right? I was going to find a solution. So I'm reading, and I said, hey, and it said very specific. The signs had to say government resale open house. Could not mention foreclosure, could not say bankruptcy, could not, you know, any of those. Government resale open house. Had to call this office. There was a HUD management brokerage, ERA Buxton Properties, all right, was the management company. I had to call and reserve a spot to do an open house. They were the kind of the manager of them. They allow you to do it. So they wrote me down, did it. I remember this. So the next Saturday, I got up early, right, and I was going to, hey, look, it's vacant, all right, let's give it a shot. 8 a.m., I'm going to show up. So I got my signs during the week, so my second weekend in the business. I remember it's right off of Belcher, just south of East Bay. Anybody know the area? Okay. Drive from Belcher, south of East Bay. So I'm driving down Belcher, and that's going to be my first sign setup. So I'm going to put a sign northbound on Belcher, and southbound on Belcher. I get out, put my 2 signs up, drive up to the next corner where it's going to be my turn, two in, right? And it remind you, it's 8:03 a.m. now, right? I pull over, right? Get out. Didn't even have a car that I could pop a trunk. I had to physically go out there and do it. Remember the old days when there was no trunk to pop? There was no trunk pop lid thing, all right? Probably rolled down my windows as well. All right, all those kind. And so I get out and I get in my trunk and I look and a car pulls behind me. All right, so I kind of look and I grew up in Southern California, not in the hood, but the edge of the hood. All right, so somebody pulls behind me. All right, I'm a little wary. All right, so I'm kind of eyeballing, he's eyeballing, make sure he's not wearing those gang colors I was talking about last time, right? And so we kind of look at each other, nod, he nods. I get my sign out, put it in the yard, right, corner. So I pull in, go to the next corner, pull over, do the same thing. Now 2 cars pull behind me. All right? So put that sign in. That was the street the house was on. Go up 5 doors down, pull into the driveway. By the time I pull in the driveway, 3 people are already there. Okay? It's 8:07 in the morning. That day, I met 36 people coming through. All right? Yeah. People asking me, here's the thing. I'm a math guy. All right, it wasn't that long dismissed from me taking statistics to understand that 36 in one day is better than 3 in 2, right? My chances of meeting somebody, a buyer, which I hadn't even thought about the 4 criteria of a buyer by then, all right? But now I know what those 4 criteria are. I'm going to cover them here in a second. But I didn't even know that. But I thought, hey, you know what? If I can find one, okay, that is able to buy and wants to use me, that's a pretty good day, right? If I do that enough times, let's see, there are 52 weekends. Already I'm doing the math, right? Like 52 weekends. If I take 2 weekends off, still do 50, do a Saturday and Sunday, that's 100. I could sell 100 homes a year, all right? That was immediately where my mind went to, okay? Well, and I was just learning this pre-plane, positive thinking. Remember I told you I had to get all that stuff that I was raised on out of my mind. Right? I was raised on, if everything seems to be going right, you've obviously overlooked something. Right? That's how I was raised. McDougal's are broke. McDougal's never own. McDougal's are rent. McDougal's pay the man. Right? Okay? McDougal's aren't the man. Right? I said, I want to be the man. Right? So when Joseph was born, Joseph's our biological, Joseph's our biological and Samuel's our adopted son. Joseph was born, right? He's our oldest son. Because of how I was raised and what I had learned, I was already, Jeanette and I were a little older when we had been married 12 or 13 years already before Joseph came along. So I'd already gone through my process and learned how to rethink and what I say to myself and all these kind of things. So I wanted better for Joseph than McDougal's are broke, right? So I poured into him all the time. We spent a lot of time together. He showed a lot of property with me. All right, Mondays and Fridays, we had a nanny Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Mondays and Fridays, he was with me, and the weekends, he was with Jeanette while I was sitting more bank-owned open houses to find more clients to show property to on Monday through Friday. But that being said, I would just pour into him all the time. McDougal's are the best. McDougal's are the best. McDougal's are the best. So much so that when he became verbal, about 18, 19 months old, you'd meet Joseph, and they'd say, hey, little guy, how are you? Great. What's your name? Joseph. What's your last? Did you know your last name? What is it? McDougal's are the best. All right? He thought his last name was McDougal's are the best. Right? Isn't that great? What's better way to go than McDougal's are broke? Right? Okay? There's power. Again, I'm going to go back to the Bible again. All right? Do you know that God changed Abram's name to Abraham? It's like, that's just a... But you know what Abraham means? Father of many nations. Okay? He was Abram, but God changed his name. So basically, can you imagine going around, and this is before he was 100 years old and they didn't have any kids, right? And God promised him children, right? And so even his wife Sarah laughed at God, right? And laughed about this. And the interesting thing is that Abraham's going around now here, saying, hey, what's up? Hey, father of many nations, what's going on? That's what he heard, right? And pretty soon, if we start to hear that in our own mind, I'm a winner. I'm successful. I'm victorious. I'm going to overcome, right? It is power in our words, people, because it changes the way we think. And changing the way you think changes the way you act. And sometimes you have to do it opposite. Sometimes you have to act before you even change the way you think, right? You got to act as if. And so it's a powerful thing to understand. Flash forward, 36 people, figured out, people asking me, hey, how do these work, right? Got all these people pouring in. I wasn't ready. It's like 8:07, right? I'm like, what? And people say, well, what sign-in app did you have? Okay, 1993. App, what's an app? Did you, Apple? Apple was around, I guess, but not like it is today, right? So I have this man, and they're like, oh, why don't you guys go look around? And I'm like, trying to read the manual, figure out how to sell this home, right? It's a HUD foreclosure. It's a sealed bid. It's like, oh yeah, sealed bid. Bids are due every Monday. And they're open the following morning on Tuesday, right? Hiding the manual behind my back so they think I know what I'm talking about. I'm just figuring it out as I go. I had 10 weeks to get this figured out so I didn't have to go back to teach geometry, right? And I was motivated. I wanted to make it happen, and I did, right? So I got cranked up, started meeting people, and people were like, I don't know, what do you think? And I'm like, hey, and I met up with a lender, found out I was a math guy, so I went with people to their mortgage application, right? Back in the day, because first of all, they were scared, right? These first-time home buyers, I said, you know what? And plus, I wanted to learn the process. I wanted to understand better how a mortgage person qualified somebody, so therefore I can understand, hey, look, maybe I can cut this off at the pass, right? Maybe I know who we can work with today and who I need to put in the crock pot, right? And so it helped me learn. I wanted to learn on the fly, all right? So flash forward, 8 weeks later, time to decide if I was going to go back to teaching or not. Already had 4 closings, another 4 under contract. Okay? Already had in the can, in the pipeline, my teaching salary for the next year. Right? Okay, why? Just because I said, hey, I'm going to figure this out. Right? I didn't go and suck my thumb. So with that in mind, I'm just telling you, this still works today. I've got agents that we've taught this forever, and they've become very successful, but they'll put their signs away, but when things get slow and they need their pipeline to fill, they dust off their bank foreclosure open house signs, and here we go again, right? If you ever, I'm just telling you, if anybody would implement this between now and 2 weeks from now, yeah, but how do I? You've got the stinking internet. I had to go to the newspaper, right? And figure it out on my own. Don't come crying to me, right? You've got the Facebook group page that I've already put a script on what you need to send to a bank foreclosure open house listing agent, right, to ask them permission to sit an open house at their listing. What? But what if they're not with Future Home? They're not with Future Home. I'm here to tell you, right? But isn't that, you can do that? Yeah, I've combed it. There's nothing in Chapter 475 of the Florida statutes that says no, right? Yeah, as long as you have their permission, you can go do it. And but guess what? No, yes. Right? Other people? Yes, right away. Hey, this is easy, right? Just ask, right? I've already written the stinking, make it sound like you, right? But just take that as a template, make it sound like you, send it as an email, send it as a text, follow up with a phone call, right? They come back and say, no way, we have a company policy against that. Great, okay, thank you anyway, right? Please don't do this, because this happens, right? Every time I teach this. I'm here to tell you that there will be listing agents who are bank foreclosure, if you're looking to do this, that will tell you no, right? And they will say they have a bank, that they have a company. They will say Fannie Mae doesn't allow it, which is not true, okay? But I'm here to tell you, they're going to say that. Now, you can spend the next week and a half writing these really eloquent things about why this agent is really backward and shouldn't be telling me no, or you could spend the next 5 minutes finding the person who's going to tell you yes. Right? Exactly. Stop the complaining. All right? They shouldn't be doing that's an ethics violation. Okay, take your ethics violations and move on. All right? Go sell a freaking house. Are you with me? Okay? That is what we get paid on. Not complaining. Not writing great posts. Not eloquently displaying why the MLS waiver form is full of holes. Okay? I get it. It is what it is. We're working on it. Shut up and go sell. All right? Okay. Traffic generator. Everybody got me? And what does traffic mean? People. What's the best open house? Where's the best open house to do? Wherever generates the most traffic. Oh, Bob, I got this great one. I said, where is it? Well, you go up, and it's 14 turns through 3 gates, right? And they got to call you to get permission to give you the gate code to get in. Not a traffic generator. Might be a nice house. Might be the deal of the century. All right? I'm looking for something that will just get me in front of the most eyeballs possible, period. Right? So, let's go to the other side of town, but you'll learn that I didn't discriminate where I sold, right? So I was on Belcher, south of East Bay. Now let's go, anybody Newport Richey area? Fans? Okay. Veterans Village. Okay, you know Veterans Village? Right off of Rowan/Seven Springs Boulevard up there. It changes names a couple times, right? Okay. Jenner and all those things. Okay, right off of those roads there, right? There's one right off of Mitchell Ranch. Okay, so Seven Springs, Mitchell Ranch, one street in, quick turn, 2 houses down. Bank foreclosure, right? Wasn't a HUD, it was a bank foreclosure. Aubrey Gates, I don't know if Aubrey still sells real estate, he was with RE/MAX at the time, had a great Fannie Mae relationship and listed all their foreclosures, right? He and I got to know each other well. Boom, here we go. That house, totally overpriced. It was trashed, smelled like you don't want to know, right? Seriously, it was just like it was the fleas all over. It was just a mess, right? They were asking, here's the beauty. Roger was with RE/MAX. I was with whoever fill in the blank at the time, all right? This is pre-Future Home Realty even existing, right? So I'm not with there. I have no fiduciary duty to the seller, right? I'm representing the buyers when they walk in the door. I have no relationship with the seller. I don't work for RE/MAX. I'm not with them, okay? So people walk in, and they're like, oh my God, this. I said, yeah, I know. And they said, how much are they asking? I'd say 142. 142. I said, I know. What are they smoking? Crack? Jeez. I don't know what they're thinking, but this thing needs to be below $100,000. They are way overpriced. All right? What are you looking for? Boom. Okay? Write an offer? Better yet, I didn't want to. You know why? I was meeting 50 people a day at that one because it was in a high traffic area, easy turn. I never wanted that thing to sell. Okay? Seriously. I was like, stay overpriced, right? Stay overpriced. I literally, guys, I'm telling you, I added up. Okay, I sat it for 7.5 months. Okay? 7.5 months every Saturday and Sunday. Okay? Every Saturday, every Sunday after church, I was there. Okay? You laugh. 71 contracts I wrote from the people I met at that open house. They finally got realistic, dropped it below 100, it sold, and I cried. All right? I said, my goose. Someone just killed the goose that's laying the golden eggs. What's going on? So I had to go find another goose. But I'm just telling you, why was it good? Because it was convenient or it was really nice? No. It was a piece of, the writers I used to love to put up there. Could I put POS on there? All right? Okay. Piece of Shooby-Doo. We'll clean this up. It's being recorded. All right? Okay. No, I couldn't do it. But I'm just looking for high traffic. Get me in front of people. Get me in front of people. Now, once I'm in front of people, that's problem number 1, right? So you got to work. Bob, what's the best open house? The one that generates the most traffic. I'm going to answer you the same every time. All right? The other question I get is, when should I do an open house? And my answer is always compared to what? Compared to Netflix? Now. Right? What do you mean now? Now? Now. I would sit open houses on Thursday afternoon from 5 to 7 if my pipeline didn't look like it should. Right? What? I thought there was a rule that said it had to be Saturday or Sunday, 1 to 4. No. Anytime, anywhere, any place, anytime. Why not? Yeah, but I've got note cards to write. Great, write them at an open house. Nowadays, again, don't complain to me. I'll give you when I grew up stories, okay? Laptop, air card, dude, you could get your MBA while you're sitting at a freaking open house, right? Literally, right? So I don't want to hear it, right? Go sit where people, you don't have any floor time at Future Home Realty. So you got all the floor time you want. Go sit at an open house. That's better floor time than somebody, by the way, wandering into a Caldwell Bank or happens to be next to Publix because their deli sandwich is a little slow in getting made, so they just wander in, right? I'd rather have somebody that stopped in an open house that has at least raised their hand saying, hey, look, I might have a little bit of interest in real estate. Fair enough? So are we with me on the traffic? Okay, where's the open house? Yes. Bob, should I do an open house during a Bucks game? Yes. Compared to watching the Bucks game only? You never know, right? Go sit. Do you need business? Go sit in open house. I'm just telling you, but I don't want to hear it. If you don't have business, don't come crying to me if you're not willing to do the work. Fair enough? All right, you got to go meet people. And these are people, by the way, that are not on your current database. All right, John? Absolutely. Read your books, grow yourself personally, get better. All right, we're going to talk about this in a second. How do I get better at converting people when they do walk in the door? Here's a good word for you, again, to borrow Nike's term, just do it. Right? Screw up as many times as you need to until you stop screwing up. Right? We're so concerned about being perfect in our script when they walk in the door that you never even talk. Right? Here's the beauty of a good bank-owned open house, too. When you meet 36 people in a day, you don't have to be perfect. Okay? They walk out. When there's only one a day, you better be perfect. Right? I blew it. All right? Bank-owned open house, I blew it, but there's somebody else. All right? Okay, no time to lick my wounds. Here we go. Right? Okay, I'm just telling you, when you get that, and it's beautiful. These bank-owned open houses, I was sort of like leading. People would say, how do these work? I'd say, hey, you know what? What time is it? Oh, it's 10:08. Come back at 10:15. You go walk around 10:15 because there's 3 people in the house right now. I said I do every 15 minutes on the 15s, I do my little spiel on how they work, right? Literally, right? It was. I'd say, hey, look, come on over. You know what I mean? I'm like at a museum curator or whatever, right? Okay? And so I would just see, and these were far from museum-type properties, right? But I would just tell them about how the process and how we go about it, and we're going to talk about what I said to them, okay? I didn't describe the house, because the number of houses I sold that were that house, less than 2%, right? It's never about the house you're sitting. It's about the relationship you're building by meeting them in the house you're sitting. Are you with me? Right? It's just a chance to get in front of them. Okay? Bank-owned open houses, we talked about it. Converting walk-in traffic. I got another slide. We're going to cover that in detail. All right? I'm going to spend a lot of time on this right now because we need to get this out because I don't want you wasting your time doing bank-owned open houses with the wrong attitude. The wrong attitude would be, I hope I can get them to sign in. Okay? Take your sign-in sheets and crumble them up. Because I'll get to it in a second. If they walk out and you don't have another appointment to show them property, you're never hearing from them again. Oh, Bob, I spend my whole week following up with all these people I met. I said, how many are returning your calls? None. Stop calling them. Guys get it, right? I get it all the time. Hello? All right? Okay? Guys? Hey, she gave me her number. That's great, but she's not returning my calls, and it sounds like a 48-year-old lady on the other end of the line, and I'm 17, all right? I think she gave me her aunt's number or something, right? Okay, I don't know what happened, but, I thought we had we were connecting, all right? Well, connecting at 1:45 in the morning at a bar isn't quite as, connecting when she wakes up and realizes what you really look like. Just kidding, you guys, relax, okay? Loosen up a little bit. Jiminy Christmas. All right. How's the dude? He talks about 145 bar times, and he talks about what Abraham is. So what a conflicted individual he is. All right. Okay. Becoming an expert in investor buying, we can teach you this. I've got a great class on FHR University. It's called Speak the Language of an Investor. It will change your life. If you can watch that class, I don't know if we'll get a chance to teach before the end of the year. It's called Speak the Language of an Investor. Just like if I were doing an open house and someone walked in and they spoke French to me, and I happen to speak French, the chances of me connecting with them is far greater. Agreed? Right? Than me trying to real quickly go on to one of the 100K Facebook pages and say, are there any French-speaking agents out there? Right? Now, chances of me knowing every language are slim, but if we know you're going to get a lot of investors walking in the door, right? Learn to speak the language of an investor. An investor could care less about, look at the nice curtains over the bedroom window. Like, who gives a flip, right? Okay, right? It doesn't matter to an investor. And by the way, here's what I mean by investor. Let's get this clear. right? An investor is a buy and hold, I want to rent this out and make a cash flow person. That's the only investor I'm talking about. The investor who will come into these, who says, hey, glad to meet you. By the way, what's your first name? Hey, Debbie, great to meet you. Thanks so much for your information. By the way, if you find anything 70% below market value, you let me know, right? Okay, yeah, I'll let you know. Let you know after I bought it, all right? Okay. If I find something 70% under market value and it's a legitimate sale, I'm digging into that thing right now, right? That is not a client. That is not an investor, right? You will be spinning your wheels looking forever for that. Move on. Cut them loose now, right? I'm telling you. Now, the investor that says, hey, look, I'd like to buy something. I've got 25% to put down. I've heard real estate's a good thing to invest in. And can you talk to me about what the cap rate might be on a return on this one? And you're like, huh? But if you watch the training, you'll have that cap rate. Oh, yeah, you know what? I've run the numbers on something similar to this. And based upon the going rents in this neighborhood, you could be looking at about a 10 to 13% cap rate at this price. What kind of cap rate are you looking for? And you're like, holy smokes. It's that Jerry Maguire, you had me at hello moment, right? Seriously. Investor finds an agent who speaks that language. It's like, hey, I found a French-speaking real estate agent. It's that kind of moment, guys. So if you learn to become an expert, and by the way, they're going to come. You put foreclosure on the sign, all right? They will come, all right? Just be careful who you're dealing with. Buy and flip guy, gal, whoever, okay? Good luck. I hope that works out for you, right? Don't waste your time. I'm here to help tell you. Because you got more people coming in. Go work with the ones that are legitimate buyers. Work first-time home buyers with vigor, right? You're going to meet them. They will lead you to your listings. They will lead you to 5 other deals. They will lead you to 15 other contacts through social media. They will lead you there, right? First-time home buyers are awesome, okay? Learn to do that because they sometimes get shooed away by other realtors. The experience, the Rolex wearing, Jaguar driving, country club living realtors, right? Don't want to deal with a first-time home buyer. Oh, aren't you cute? Have a nice day, right? But you go deal with them, all right? Because they have Aunt Gertie that wants to list her homes 8 months later. Remember we talked about that? Okay. List by referral only. We talked about that. We're not going to stop worrying about, don't spend the first 4 months of your career, real estate career, perfecting your listing presentation. Right? I didn't have a listing presentation. My listing presentation was, yeah, I sold a home to your niece. All right? Thanks for the opportunity. I've run the numbers. Here's the papers we're going to sign. Oh, hey, okay. Jenny, my niece, says you're the best. Bob's the bomb. Right? Okay, here we go. All right, and here we go. Where do I sign? That was my listing presentation. You guys are too busy trying to perfect your, okay, do I flip do I have it automatically fly in? Let me spend a day on the fly in. Is fly in better than blinds? All right, you know how the next page appears on blinds? Is that better? All right? They're not going to hire you because you flew in as opposed to blinded in, right? Okay, I'm just telling you. There's nothing wrong with being professional. Don't get me wrong. But don't spend all your ever-loving, or if you're going to spend your days analyzing and finalizing your listing presentation, do it while you're sitting in a bank-owned foreclosure, open house. All right? You can do it both at the same time. Cool? This is simple? So here's what we're going to do. Conversion. Listen to this. This is simple. I got this. Converting is a piece of cake when you have the right attitude. You know what you're looking for, and you're looking for, they've got to convince you, you not them. Does that make sense? They've got to convince you they're worth your time to work with them rather than vice versa. Oh my God. What are you talking about? Well, that's an immediate psychological flip for most of us right now because you're going from the premise that only one person's walking in, right? If I'm only getting one a day, I've got to land that bad boy, all right? And if that fish gets off the hook, I've wasted the whole day of fishing, right? Whereas, you know what? I've got 12 to choose from. Yeah, I'm gonna ask you guys some important questions and see if you're qualified to work with me. Is that a change in perspective? 100%, right? You guys are so busy wrapping your arms around the leg, and they're like giving you I'm not a buyer sign, right? They're dragging you along. And they're like, what's going on here? It's like, holy smokes, I told you my credit score is 480, right? I told you, right? Yeah, but I got credit repair companies. Okay, I get it, right? But it's because it's your only up for the day, you better land it, right? Okay, and at least you got to go home and tell your significant other that you did something, right? But if you got more to choose from, don't get me wrong, if they're sincere, now the person that's dragging you along trying to shake you off is not sincere, right? But somebody who truly wants your help that is not qualified to buy we call those crock pot buyers. We put them over here in the crock pot, get them cooking. They might go meet with a credit repair person. They might need to, learn to pay their bills. They might need to do a lot of other things. You can come along every couple of months, lift up the lid. Oh, 520, keep working, all right? Go back and see, and you still stay in contact with them, but you're not showing them properties. You're not counting them as, when that one hits, I'll make money someday. It's like, Jiminy, if you're relying on that person as your income, you better start bartending now, right? It's true, okay? So here we go. You get paid on closed deals. Everybody understand that? Not on maybe wannabe, I thought if I can find something 70% below market value, okay. You get paid on closed deals. The only way you get paid in real estate. I'm most of your broker, right? So I'm not paying you a draw, a salary, anything else, right? So you get paid, I pay you when you pay me. You bring me a check and I'll give you one back, all right? So with that in mind, the only way to get paid is to close deals. Everybody understands that, right? So make sure we get that covered on the front side, right? You have to believe in your inner soul being that you have something they need. It has to be there, that you've got what they need rather than vice versa. You've got a knowledge, but I didn't have a knowledge base either. I had a freaking manual. I had the manual, they didn't, right? How does that work, Bob? I'm like, right? I had something they needed, right? Information, the knowledge base, the experience, the lack of experience, that's okay. We fake it till we make it because we got partners that are going to help us and guide us along. All of that going on, right? We can make it happen. You've got what they need, but it's a mind change. If you want one script, okay, here's the thing. I would talk to people, and literally, you got to get this in your head, that you've got a couple minutes at the most to engage them, right? And convince them that, hey, look, this guy or gal knows what they're doing, right? But if I found somebody that had never bought before, first-time home buyer in particular, I'd say, hey, look, you know what? I'd say, hey, Debbie, you know what? Good to meet you. All right, just take a look around. Let me ask you, so you say you purchased before. Let me tell you a little bit about me, real fast. I talk fast, so just slow me down if I go going too fast. Here's the deal. I love working with buyers, and I'm really good at it. The reason I sit these open houses is because I rarely sell the home I'm sitting in, because the chance of you wandering off the street, and this one happens to be a 2-bedroom, and you're looking for a 4-bedroom, all right, it's no connect. But what I do is I get a chance to meet people like yourself, and if they qualify, if they meet my criteria, then I start working with them, then I can help them achieve what they're looking to do. Let me tell you this, too. I don't know if you knew this, but being a buyer in a real estate transaction is the best deal in the world. Picture this. So here's the seller, catch this, I want you to hear this clear. I will slow down for this one. The seller pays me to work for you. Where are you going to get that deal, right? You ever been in court? The plaintiff is not paying for the defendant's attorney, right? I said, yeah, it's the best deal you're ever going to. Being a buyer in a real estate transaction is the best deal ever because the seller pays me to work for you. Isn't that great? Because here's what I do. I've learned that if, hey, you qualify, means I can help you find a mortgage program that works for you, or you're a cash buyer. If you're sincere and realistic in your expectations, like you're not what we call, in essence, champagne taste on a beer budget, if you know what I mean, all right? If you're realistic, if you have some type of motivation, meaning that there's a need for you to buy in the next couple months, right? And here's a big one for me. We got to have this discussion right now, Debbie, because I'm busy. I need to know that, I don't know if you know this, but I don't get paid until I close deals. You want to close a deal because you want to buy a home. I want to close deals because that's how I get paid, right? But if I don't close the deal, if I'm not involved in the transaction, I don't get paid. So let me give you an example. Before we even start, if you sounds like we might have a good, chance to work together, that's great. but I want you to go home and check with your parents and all your relatives and make sure that there's no real estate license floating around there somewhere. What? I would say this, because I got burned, right? Okay, oh, Bob, you gave me all the information. You got me pre-approved. You showed me all these houses, Dad. Everything's all great. And you know what? My mom reminded me that cousin Eddie has his real estate license. I'm like, what? Welcome to Florida, right? WTF. Okay, what just happened here, right? Okay, cousin Eddie, my backside, right? But so I learned, let me cover that on the front side. I don't know. I said, it's a great question to ask, because if it's going to be awkward, because you're going to have Thanksgiving dinner with cousin Eddie and you don't use him, let's find that out now. And I would say that, okay? And she said, oh, you know what? And sometimes they call me back and say, hey, cousin Eddie does have a license, right? But you don't know what the heck he's doing. I'm still going to use you anyway. Great, as long as we have that agreement of going forward. And so that fourth part is loyal to me. I didn't say that. I need to know you're loyal to me, because they get scared, right? It's like, hey, look, I'm non-committal. I'm not going to commit. I'm not signing anything. I'm not asking you to sign anything. I just want to know if I'm going to spend time working with you, I got to know I'm going to get paid. Because I don't get paid until we close deals. I don't get paid by the hour. I don't get paid by the mile. I don't get paid by anything else, right? I get paid on closing deals. Are we good there? Good. We're good. Perfect. See, and I'm going to have that conversation. Based upon that, what are you looking for? Boom. This didn't fit. What are you looking for? Boom. Okay, perfect. You know what I'm going to do? And this is, can you guys give me an extra 15 minutes today? Okay. So here's what I would do. Okay, here's where technology has taken away from what I did and why I used to get so much business. Okay, I'd say, okay, what are you looking for? So I write Debbie on my spreadsheet, which is a spiral notebook. Okay, Debbie, looking for 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, ideally north of Gulf to Bay, south of the Pinellas-Pasco line, anywhere in Pinellas County, which most of it's Highland Lakes, so she didn't qualify for that. So, just take my notes, right? Good. Here's the deal. Now, you guys would have a different conversation, because you say, hey, by the time you get to your car, I'm going to go to my computer and you'll have a list on your phone. All right? That's what you would say today. Back then, they wouldn't say that, because no one had a phone and I didn't have a computer and none of that was working. So I said, I'm going to go back to my office because I meet a lot of people. So what I generally do is on Saturdays and Sundays, I meet a ton of people. Usually on Mondays, I'll go and I'll drop a list off. If you're in a real hurry tonight, I can do it before I go to dinner with my wife tonight and drop it off at your house, that initial list, which would be better. I'm okay, I'll wait till okay, great, where do you work? Right? Perfect. Okay, got that. Okay, you know what? Probably sometime between 10 and 1. That's usually when I'm making my rounds, and I'll drop off your initial list. Here's what we're going to do, Debbie, is you're going to go and you're going to, because inevitably I could show you all this is before we had all the, now they can stink and see the house, all right, with virtual tours. But before, there were no pictures, right? It said you go just drive by, take a look, get a feel for the neighborhood. If they pass your, star, check, cross through, right? Just give me the ones that you want to see. We'll go take a look at them, and we'll set up a time. So I'm going to drop this off Monday. Let me look at my calendar. Usually Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays is usually my heaviest showing days. I know you work. That's great, because that helps me get number one out of the way, because you have a job, right? It means you can qualify, right? So I'm glad you work. After work, people are like, oh, I don't want to work after 5. Well, guess what? There's times when you need to work when other people aren't, right? Well, I don't want to work with people who have a job. Okay, all right, go for that. All right, have fun with that one. All right, so hey, no problem. Anytime 5:30. Let's go Thursday. How about 5:30? You can maybe on Tuesday, Wednesday. Take a look at these. Give me a call. I'll set up the showings, and we'll plan on going and take a look at property on Thursday. All right, fair enough. All right, just let's go take a look at 2 or 3 and get it. It'll help me once we get inside a home, so I can get a better feel, even better, for what you're looking for, right? And I might even know. Okay, fair enough. Good. All right, so I'm gonna do that. So I would go back to my office, all right, and again, don't complain to me about what you do, ever, all right, because I would go back to my office, and you know what I would do? Because I didn't have a computer at home. Go back to my office, and I'd enter to the antiquated MLS system at the time, 1993. It would just come out of MLS books, all right? The fact that we had a computer in the office was huge, right? Okay, so I type in 3-bedroom, 2-bath, parameters, north of Gulf to Bay, put in those parameters, and by the way, I had that written down. And then my list would come up. I could not sort them, right? There was no sorting. I would hit one thing, print. You know those printers? Okay? Some of these people look at me like, what the heck? What are you doing, right? Okay? These printers, these pin-fed printers, right? And they get off, and you have to make sure the perforations were lined up, okay? All this, and you had the box of paper below, and it'd feed it up through, right? And it's coming out, and it wouldn't get clogged on the top, so I'm there holding it so it doesn't. And inevitably, all right, they never arranged it so that a listing printed on one page. It was always like half on one of the perforated page, so I had to go and manually cut them individually. Then I would put them in order, whatever I decided, whether it be usually geographic order for the client, so they make it easier for them to go review. But then I'd also go through that list, and you know what I would look for? The highest MLS number. Why? Because I had to put that on my spreadsheet. I had to put that down as well. You know why? Okay. No. Highest MLS number, not the MLS percentage, like MLS ID. 7604832 was the biggest one, right? And the reason I had to do that is because she'd go look at properties and she'd say, hey, Bob, is there anything new on the market? Of course, I'd go back and I had her search couldn't save a search. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, put it all back in again, no safe search, right? No automatic email showing up there on their email at 4:30 in the morning. I tell you, don't cry to me about what you do, right? Then I get this new list, all right? 8 of the 12, or 10 of the 12 were the same ones I'd already given her, but I didn't have a chance to separate them, or I had to throw the 10 away, because I already gave her those, right? Get the 2 new ones, write the new, cross out the old MLS number, write the new one down, because that's how I knew if it was new or not, was by the MLS ID, right? And go hand them to her. But here's the beauty of me handing them. Monday, I come rolling into Debbie's work. And I had to get permission. They had to go through, Debbie, you got a visitor up here. Hey, no problem, just send them on back. So I go back, and she's in a cubicle. I say, hey, Debbie, the lender already got in touch with you. Yeah, he called me this morning. Great, perfect. I talked to him as well, and he sounds like we're good to go, so everything looks great, just like that first-time home buyer program we talked about. Here's that initial list of properties. And inevitably, guys, what am I, again? FaceTime, eyeball to eyeball with her, locking her in, loyalties being, bam. We are forging loyalty right now, right? By the third time I come drop off a new set of lists, okay, guess what? Corporate America says this. Debbie's in a 10 by 10 cubicle. Next thing I know, whoop, over the top of the other next door cubicle, all right? John says, hey, what's going on over there? All right? I said, oh, I'm helping Debbie buy a home. Wait, she's in a 10 by 10. I'm in a 10 by 10. We make the same amount of money. That's what corporate America says, because if I made more money, I'd be in a 12 by 12. If I made less money, I'd be in an 8 by 8, right? Okay, but we're in the same size cubicle, which means the same amount of money. Means if she can qualify for a mortgage, why can't I? Right? Say, hey, John, you ever thought of, okay, I'm losing that. It's a lot easier to sit home and, let the automatic emails just flow, right? Just never hear from them again, and never get to see them again. I engage with people immediately, right? If they met all 4 criteria, I engage, and once I engaged, we were in. We forged a loyalty that was there, and I always got new business from that, right? We lose that. So here's my encouragement to you. Can you do that? No. And I'm not saying go print the list for people, right? Let them do their searches and watch the virtual tours and all that kind of. Life is easier. It's okay to be in 2019, all right? But look for ways later in the process that I can still get face-to-face with she and her coworkers and or friends. What does that mean? Well, the book has some great ideas about doing a housewarming party after the thing. Here's another idea. Go drop off there's a dozen cookies waiting for you right now in a box at Publix, right? Tie a balloon or a helium balloon onto that thing and walk into her office and drop them down. She goes, what's this for? Hey, appraisal came in at value. Hey, I just got clear to close. Hey, we just heard that the inspections, they agreed to our inspection contingencies. Whatever, find a way to get in front of them. Let's go celebrate. It's the best $3.98 you'll ever buy. You don't eat them, because we don't do carbs, all right? Okay, let them, all right? Carbs are for the buyers, okay? You're losing weight and getting more attractive as the days go on. I'm just telling you, man, all right? But you're just saying, you know what? I celebrated this morning with a glass of celery juice, all right? Okay? So you drop it off, but you find a way to get in front of these people, and it's just pretty soon you're the hero. That whole office loves you, right? Who's that to? What's that? What's that?
Do not send auto property.
You know, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with okay, but the auto property search is fine. But follow up with, hey, did you see that one that just came up today?
Or send them to yourself.
Yeah, and then you can dispense them and say the email's coming from you, not from some automated system. Think outside the box. Get creative, right? Find ways to get in front of people. It's hot. It's July. All right, go bring. They're 99 cents for the smallest little Frosty at Wendy's. Go buy a dozen of those things and drop them off at the office. Be the hero, right? Find creative ways to get in front of them and their friends and do it again, right? But don't be afraid to have these kind of conversations about how do I get her to begin with? Because if she's like giving me totally no buy signs, right? Okay, she was nice to me because she knows how to role play, right? But if in reality she's like, no, you know what? I think I do have an aunt, or I'm just looking, whatever. It's like, hey, great, no problem, all right? No, please sign in, so I can follow up you for the next 8 weeks and you not return my calls, right? Don't get them to sign in. Hey, here's my card. If you don't want to give me your information now, no problem. Here's my card. If things ever change, call me. Boom, out of sight, out of mind. I'm not counting them as my one. All right? You guys are too busy saying, I've got 48 buyers I'm working with. Really? Show me. Well, here's my sign-in list. Okay, but you're not communicating with them. Communication's two ways, right? All right? He who talks and is not being talked back to is speaking to a wall. Exactly, right? Have a great conversation with yourself. All right? So, best deal everywhere. Establish rapport quickly. Then get down to business. Hey, great. I'm glad you have kids. I'm glad you're from the area. Now let's go. All right? Because I got 4 other people walking up right now. Seriously. Right? Hey, I'm assuming you're here because you have an interest in real estate. We're not here to shoot the shooby-doo, right? You stopped into an open house because I sell real estate, you want to buy real estate. That's a fair assumption. If they give me a sign otherwise, to say, okay, great, thanks for knowing you, all right? I'm not going to chase you out the door, okay? That's just, again, you guys are too busy doing, you want to be successful at these things, I can tell you how. When they leave, they should be wanting more. Hey, I don't know. Even if they left and they say, hey, I'm not ready to buy now, but I'll tell you this, if I ever did, that dude, that gal, that's my person, right? You never know, right? But leave them, but let them call you. You don't worry about calling them. I know this is the anti-follow-up. I know you're supposed to list homes and follow up like the Dickens, right? That's what everybody else is teaching. I'm saying work with buyers and make them call you, all right? Totally different attitude. Book another appointment with them if they are someone you feel, book another appointment if there's someone you want to work with. Once you get so busy and good at this, and you get so many people rolling through, you choose, right? Instead of them choosing you, you're choosing them. It's a totally different attitude. We can just totally step away, right? Hey, look, you know what? I don't know, I'm only buying something. I say, hey, you know what? I can run you a list. I can run you a list of about, 11,999 other realtors that you can work with, all right? That's what I'll run you a list of. Okay, not me. Okay, ABM, anybody but me, right? Okay, anybody, you just go have at it. All right. Okay, everybody good on that? Pay attention to the Facebook page. I will find that post and repost it again about you getting open houses. Here's what's going to happen. People will start. Hey, is anybody? What will happen is somebody will call. No. Get a yes, and they'll say not only yes. Here's what I know about listing, REO listing agent. And again, can you do this at a regular open house? Yes, right? Do it at a regular open house. As long as it's generating traffic, I don't care where you do it, right? What's that? FSBOs, absolutely. If they'll allow you to do it, wherever you can generate traffic. It's all about the and and if you're so good at converting that you're one on, every time somebody walks in the door, you've got one, then you only need one. All right, I just want you to find one a day on average. By the way, real quick, my history said I was averaged one per open house. What does that mean? That means that there were some times I did 3 or 4 open houses in a row. None. 0. People came in, but I got 0 that met the 4 criteria, right? So I could have said, it's time to get the teaching credential back dusted off. No, I went and sat another open house and met 5. Okay? Law of averages says that I was averaging 1 per time. Everybody got that? Averaging. Okay, so you got to stay consistent with it and do them more often. Hey, Bob, should I do an open house? Yes. But what about, oh, yes. Compared to what? It's either showing property or going to a closing. Then no. Right? If not, then yes. Period. Right? If you need more business. Now, some of you are already at this stage. And we're going to talk, that's why I asked you for an extra 7 minutes now. All right? We'll be out here by 11:45. Okay? Generosity generation. This is another mind shift. In the book, at least on my book on page 12, it talks about the generosity generation defined. Here in essence is this. You need to get the book. Everybody understands the book is 7 Levels of Communication. Who has started reading the book? Honestly. Okay, good. Anybody finished the book? Awesome, even better. Great job. It's an easy read, right? It's a mind shift as far as, because here's what you're taught most of the time in real estate. Okay? Instead of punctuation, like you end a sentence with a period, all right, in real estate, here's our punctuation. Hi, it's really nice to meet you. Normally, there's a period at the end of that. Hi, it's really nice to meet you. By the way, if you or anybody you know are looking to buy or sell real estate, I'd really love to be your realtor for life. Right? Like, who are you? Right? Okay, what's your, you guys are you're taught to put it on your cards. The sincerest form of flattery I could ever receive is okay? You get it, all right? You better check your cards. I get it, all right? Okay? You're taught that, and it's not your fault, right? But here's the problem. You have not earned the right to get the referral, right? If this book teaches you nothing else but this, it says you got to give massive value first before it comes back to you. You've got to show them, A, that you're competent and that you're willing to do something for them, not only for what they can do for you. It's a different way of thinking. All right? I don't think I have it on this slide, but you can write this one down. Stop, period, asking, period, for, period, referrals, period. People run from you. Right? You're taught to do it every day of the week. Let's just go out and start asking for referrals. Hey, do you know, who 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 do you know? Nothing wrong with that once you've earned the right. You've closed the deal, first-time home buyer, you don't have to ask for the referrals, and they're giving you referrals, right? It's because you gave massive value first. You showed them, you proved your worth on the front side. Now you've earned the right to get it. Are you with me? So that is where your mindset needs to be. So when you're reaching out, and we're going to teach you how to reach out to past clients, how to set some time blocks, some time to make sure you're calling your sphere and doing it, but what are you doing? You're doing it to say, hey, we haven't seen each other in a while, let's grab coffee. And when you get together with coffee, I'm just checking, you don't have time. Hey, no problem. Hey, you got 10 minutes now? How's it going? What's going on in your life? And they're waiting, I know, I heard Mary just got into real estate. Here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes. Hey, before we go, by the way, right? It's like, oh my gosh, next thing, call block Mary, right? But if it's, hey, you know what? Hey, there's something going on in my life and I really have a problem. When you go fill a need for somebody, you have ingratiated yourself in their eyes. It's a differentiator. I'm sure to tell you, the things they teach in the book about doing that kind of stuff, finding a reason to follow up with again, not about real estate, but about helping their daughter find a great ballet school. That's what people want. You do that, they know you're in real estate. You don't need to tell them 52 times every time you see them, 6 times every time you see them, right? They're like, geez, commission breath, get away, it stinks, right? I don't want to smell it. It's true, right? Okay, and so just go ingratiate yourself to them, and then pretty soon, it happens, right? That's the generosity. You go give massive value first, right? And then once you give that massive value, it starts the cycle, right? That they will eventually, remember, here's what happens. And if you're going to do business with anybody, we're going to teach you this. I'm a big fan of go spend some time with all the other business owners you know, right? Why? Business owners understand the power and appreciate the value of a referral. We don't even call them referrals, we call them introductions, right? If I got a buddy that owns a body shop and I can connect somebody because they just had a fender bender and I can connect them, that's a great thing. because now the guy who owns the body shop is happy. The person who I'm referring is happy if this guy's trustworthy, because hopefully he is, if you're introducing them, right? They're happy because they can get scammed in body shops, right? So they're happy, right? And you're happy because you feel good that you've matched somebody and everybody's good. Okay, 4 months down the road, the owner of the body shop come in and this guy's like, oh my gosh, he goes, can you fix this little ding? I don't want to, I know this is a rental car, I'm here visiting, and this scratch is going to, they're going to charge me like $1,000 right off the top, and if you can fix it for $150, that'd be great. It's worth it to me to get it done. It's before I turn it in the rental car. Yeah, hey, so you're out of town, I take it, rental car? Oh yeah, we're moving here to town. Really? Have you talked to my friend Jenny, Debbie? Okay, and he's like, who's it? Yeah, they refer, you know what? Scratched backs, right? Okay, so why not? Who else are they going to refer than somebody who gave them business? They're happy, and it's in the book they call it the triangle of trust, right? Where now, so if you can establish relationships with a lot of business owners who appreciate that idea of that concept of that, that's what B&I and all these other groups are based on, right? The networking groups that they meet every Tuesday morning at the, Moose Lodge or whatever, right? Okay, it's a great idea because they just share, referrals back and forth with each other, and they're other business owners because that's why there's only one realtor allowed, one mortgage person, one title, one plumber, one roof guy, one window tinter, one whatever, right? They all have only so many slots because they just share with that person, right? Fair enough? So it's a kind of a mind shift there. What can I do to help you? What do you need right now? Upward spiral of life. Don't be afraid to implement. Learning something and not doing it. If you remember, this is a great line in the book. Learn, implement, fail, evaluate your failure, and relearn, right? But most of us learn, never implement, learn, never implement, learn, never implement. Go to, maybe the next training will be it. Maybe the next training will teach me. Maybe the next training will teach me after I eat a bagel. Maybe the next training, right? No, right? Implement something you learn. Promise yourself you're going to do it. Communication pyramid, it's up there. Look for ways to earn the right to be referred, and so on. All right, so here are your commitments. Remember all these things that we agreed to do? Willing to change, honest and accountable. Agree to read 1 book a month at a minimum. Get 8 hours of sleep a night. Drink 64 ounces. How's that going? 64 ounces of water? Anybody in? Telling you, more water, okay? More water is better. And it's sometimes, again, you have to retrain the tongue. I had to, all right? Now, I tell you, it's been a solid, because I go through phases on some of this, and I get out of habit. And next thing, it doesn't take long that my go-to is Dr. Pepper, right? I don't know what's in there, but I like Dr. Pepper, something, all right? It's probably an illegal, illicit something, but it's there, and I like it. So I had to learn to wean myself off of it, right? I found myself, as soon as I find myself doing this and want to inject Dr. Pepper in my veins, all right, I might have a problem, right? And so with that in mind, now that I do it, I don't even want it anymore, right? My sons, we allow them, some sodas, and I just, it's there, and I just don't want it, right? Because I prefer water now. I never thought I'd say that, but I prefer water, right? And initially I had to say to myself, I prefer water, right? Okay, I prefer water. Water's my friend, right? Okay, but now I really can't say water's my friend. Agree to perform 30 minutes cardiovascular exercise 3 days a week. How's that going? Good? Celery juice, a little cardio, a little water, 8 hours of sleep. Bring it on, right? Come on. Right? And that's what you want. You want people expecting that you want walking out the door and people come, hey, I don't know what's up with you, but I'd like to do business with you. Right? Okay? It's just something about you. Okay? It's just the way it works. Volunteer a nonprofit, donate 10% of your income. Oh, I can never do that. And I know you can't give 10% of your 50, but when I teach you how to make 200, 10% is no problem. Okay? Because 90% of 200 is 180. And you're way better off than your 100% of 50. Right? So commit to it now. And I'm so glad Jeanette insisted on this early in our marriage, as much as I tried to fight it. All right, we have been blessed beyond blessed, which I don't ask me to explain it. The math guy in me says, I have an MBA in finance. 90% is not better than 100%. But I can tell you that 100% of 50 is less than 90% of 200, right? So it works, okay? Worship once a week. I just go get together with other people, right? Oh, Bob, I get churches are screwed up. We get that, all right? Okay, go join them because you're screwed up too, right? And so the good news is that you can be screwed up together and maybe help each other a little bit, right? It's seriously. I mean, you don't want to. It's not the blind leading the blind. I'm just telling you that go find, again, and if you are totally de-churched, and I'm not here to, like I said, proselytize anybody, go find a group that thinks like you do. If you're into the environment and you want to join the Arbor Society, or go clean up the beaches, or whatever, go contemplate the fact that there may be a higher power that isn't you, right? Just think about it for a minute, okay? All just is going to require discipline and accountability, all right? I tell you, remember we hear our 5 LYs, okay? This could be a turning point in your life. It'll help you grow spiritually, commit to it, spiritually, emotionally, intellectually, physically. Actually shrink physically, not grow physically, but that's all right, okay? Our goal is our mindset is physical growth that will shrink us physically, all right? And that all those 4 add up, multiply actually, or exponentially get to financial growth, right? It's a byproduct of all the others, right? So we're going to work on that. I encourage you, by the way, come join our book club if you haven't, all right? You can email me or ask me on Facebook page what the book is if we want to get that. And let's see, I think that's it for right now. Any questions I can answer for you right now? Next meeting will be online. Pay attention to the Facebook page. If you haven't joined the Facebook page, make sure you do so. We'll make sure, because you got an email reminder about this meeting. You will not get any more emails, right? They're on the FHR calendar, as well as I'll remind you on the Facebook page, the 100K Facebook page. Any questions I can answer? If not, have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. See you later. Bye. Okay, yes.
Thank you, Bob.
You're welcome.